What's going on, fellow fantasy basketball lovers? Thank you for joining us today on Fantasy Basketball this week. If you're a returning subscriber, it's great to see you again. If you're new here, which 60% of you are, according to our YouTube statistics, make sure you click that subscribe button, hit that like button, and comment down below. We love to talk to our fans. Let's get right into business. Moving on to our next topic. Buy low, sell high candidates.
You got first.
I'm up first. I'll go first. All right. The first guy that I'm selling high on, DeLon Wright. DeLon Wright has been hooping for the Detroit Pistons, but he's been like a roller coaster this year. This last week, he's been really, really good, and a lot of analysts have been really high on him. I'm not as high on him. So after this last week with a couple 40-point, 50-point performances, I'm saying sell high on DeLon Wright because eventually, in my eyes, that's a guy that's going to end up on the waivers. You're going to end up on the waivers again because of low-scoring performances. But what do you think, Carl? How do you feel about DeLon Wright?
I'm going to agree with you on this one. It's definitely a guy that I'm not – I just don't like to have that variance in the games, in my lineup. So he's a guy that I'm looking to get rid of.
Yeah, especially when you're sharing the ball with the GOAT, the unarguable GOAT, Derrick Rose. Roll the Derrick Rose little acrobat clip from this week. That guy, he still got it.
Yeah, he still got it.
Shout out D-Rose. And then my buy low candidate, the Washington Wizards, the turnover king, Russell Westbrook.
Good one.
Russell Westbrook is playing some of the worst basketball he's ever played in his entire career. The Wizards in general, playing some of their worst basketball. Bradley Beal's carrying that team, and Russell Westbrook seems to be. I don't know if he's got the. I don't know if he's got the juice at the moment.
He is injured, so he's been dealing with a quad, which is why I would also add on the buy low because a lot of people are giving up on him, probably thinking it's just, it's not just his play. It's that he can't really play his style 100% right now because his quad's messed up. So I'd say go get him now.
Yeah, I agree. The dude averaged a triple-double each of the last, 3 seasons now? 2 seasons? 3 seasons?
Was it 2 of the last 3?
He did 1 with the Thunder, 1 with the Rockets.
Well, he did 2
with Rockets.
He did 2 with the Thunder, I know.
Okay. Yeah. Anyways, Russell Westbrook, he has a lot of triple doubles under his belt, and it's a guy who's paired with one of the best scoring guards in the league. His assist numbers are eventually going to go up. The Wizards need a big man to basically seal off for Westbrook. That's what Westbrook's missing, is a little bit of ceiling so he can get to the rim like he did with the Thunder and with the Rockets. So I'm thinking Westbrook is going to improve as the season goes on, and he's playing some of the worst basketball he possibly can right now. So I'm saying buy low on Russell Westbrook. Carl, who are your buy low, sell high candidates?
All right. Buy low, sell high. I'm going right now. So I kind of have a buy low and stash and a kind of fringe / sell guy. But to start with the buy low candidate, Jonas Valanciunas. He was hobbled with an ankle, out with COVID. The Grizzlies have missed a bunch of games. He's a guy that's probably fallen out of the back of people's minds at this point. Still an integral part of that team. Like, they need him. They need him on the boards. They need him just to play big for them. They need him to keep trying to keep pace in the Western Conference. So when he comes back, he's going to be right back and be an integral part of that team, and averages 30.8 fantasy points per game. So even though it's a smaller sample size, you're getting a lot out of him. And right now, if he's been sitting on somebody's bench for now, I want to say a couple weeks, they might be ready to give up on him. So I would go get him now before he comes back, because the Grizzlies are finally getting back to playing games, and Valanciunas is going to be a little bit later, because even though the Grizzlies are back, he's not quite off COVID protocol yet, but he is worth a stash. I would stash him because once he comes back, you're getting a starting center.
Yeah, he's been out since January 16th with COVID protocols, and the day we're recording this is January 30th, and it's said that he's going to sit this game out as well.
Yeah.
So he's been out for 2 weeks now. Definitely a guy that you need to look at. But to go with that, the Grizzlies will be returning another big man soon, Jaren Jackson Jr.
Sir.
So it's been said earlier in the month that it's not long before he returns. And it's been a week and a half, 2 weeks since that. So expect a Jaren Jackson return. He's owned in 72% of leagues, ESPN leagues, that is. So if he's available in yours, which he probably shouldn't be in a 10-team league, he should be filling out that IR spot. That's another guy you're going to want to look for on the Memphis Grizzlies. So sorry I interjected there, but who's your other candidate?
All right. Other one is also kind of my segue into fringe a little bit, just because he's owned in 14% of leagues. Royce ONeil, Utah Jazz. So Royce ONeil, just for a sell candidate for the most part, just because you've been able to prove that he's been able to be productive with and without scoring in the past week, except the scoring will cap his ceiling the entire time. As we saw, he had a career high in points, ended up with like 37. I'm just saying right now to try to pick him up and deal him as an extra nice little piece and maybe a 2-for-1 trade. Not saying that he's someone that you really want on your roster long term, but we all play fantasy sports. There's a sucker in every league. Find the sucker. If you have a solid trade, maybe need a little bit to get over the edge, consider throwing in Royce ONeil. Maybe if they're not following this or following the season as well as they should be, they may just see those quick numbers and think they have a guy on the rise. Pick him up and use him use him as a trade piece.
I will say Royce ONeil has a very favorable schedule coming up. He plays Denver on Sunday. Sorry, this is kind of messing me up. I got all kinds of work problems going on, so my scheduling's a little mixed up. But he plays Denver on Sunday, and then the 3 games following, he plays Detroit. Not a very good defensive team, although they did just beat the Lakers. They play at Atlanta, another team that's not very good defensively, and then the Charlotte Hornets. So if there was ever a week for Royce ONeil to succeed, especially with Donovan Mitchell out, this is the week. And with that kind of value coming this week, he could be a sell high candidate after this week. So if that's something you're looking to flip a guy real quick, Royce ONeil could be a good candidate. I'm not big on Royce ONeil, but if there was a week for him to provide for fantasy basketball owners, it's the coming week.
Yeah.
So that's what we got for buy low, sell high candidates.